Good morning, and welcome back to PWT Law News with your host, Mosey Along. And this morning on the Foreign Service, we have America's Prez makes a bad call. Can you imagine that? Today's briefing comes with a fable, because sometimes the best way to understand global tragedy is to watch a thirsty crow make a very bad decision. CNN senior global military affairs reporter Brad London writes that our press has effectively handed Kim Jong-un a strategic gift, one that deepens concerns about the U.S. reliability among allies and adversaries alike. The analyst points out that recent U.S. actions has weakened long-standing commitments in Asia, especially with South Korea and Japan. These alliances are the backbone of regional stability, and when Washington signals unpredictability, it creates openings by Pyongyang to exploit. Now, here's where our fable comes in. Imagine a crow, thirsty, desperate, and determined. He finds a pitcher of water on a table, but the level is too low for his beak to reach. So he drops stones into the pitcher one by one, raising the water level. It's clever. It's resourceful. It's a workaround. But when the water finally rises high enough for him to drink, he discovers it's salted. The crow's effort didn't solve the problem. It made it worse. That's the dynamic CNN describes. And trying to force quick diplomatic wins with North Korea by reducing military pressure, questioning alliances, and signaling flexibility, the U.S. may have raised the water level for negotiations. But the water itself has changed. Kim Jong-un now has more room to maneuver, more leverage with China, more confidence that U.S. commitments can be bent, and more reason to believe Washington's alliances are not as ironclad as they once were. Meanwhile, allies who depend on U.S. stability are left wondering whether the water in their own pitcher is still drinkable. The article notes that these moves just don't affect North Korea. They ripple across the Indo-Pacific. When the U.S. appears inconsistent, regional actors hedge their bets. They diversify partnerships, they question guarantees, and they prepare for uncertainty. And in geopolitics, uncertainty is salted water. So the Prez verdict today is simple. A clever move is not always a wise one. The crow raised the water level, but he didn't check the taste. The U.S. raised the diplomatic temperature, but it may have changed the strategic chemistry. As CNN's analysis suggests, the real cost of these decisions won't be measured in headlines, but in how allies respond, how adversaries adapt, and how much trust evaporates when reliability is questioned. For the Foreign Service, I'm Mosey Along. And next time you reach for a pitcher, partners, make sure the water ain't salted. Stay awake, stay alert, and remember, when you need a cab, call Fleetwood Cab Services at 484-899-9600 and tell them that Elizabeth from pwtlinenews.kinsta.cloud, CLOUD, sent you. Keep informed and make sure you know what's happening abroad, because you never know when it may come back to haunt you. See you later, Gators.